you want to do your noise?
I don't have the energy. I don't have the bloody energy.
Right, yeah. This is called Masking, the podcast.
What? Oh, like we're
Masking.
wearing masks?
Well, you know what masking is?
I know masking tape.
So masks, it's a like for neurospicy people, masking is like you're masking your true self. And then so you're masking, so you're being socially presentable, and it takes a lot of effort. Yeah, mask it. So this is
that's actually that would be a great segue into the topics that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, because it's going to get way less.
But we're not there yet.
Way less depressive later.
This is the Vibe Union podcast, and we're both sleepy boys today. What is this? This is an arts creative podcast. Jason, do your thing.
My thing. Oh God. Okay.
Do we want to start again? Are we happy?
No. This is fine.
Okay.
It all goes in. It's a tagline of my OnlyFans.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
This is like angry about it. It all goes in.
Or it gets the hose again.
Don't you back out now.
Okay, last time we talked, I told you about giant testicles, and now we're... Okay, all right. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge the custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We come here every fortnight and, share our stories and express ourselves, when First Nations people throughout history and up to this day have had their voices and stories silenced. And we're very lucky to be on this land that's been curated and looked after by so many First Nations countries throughout Australia for tens of thousands of years. We are visitors on this land. Our sovereignty was never ceded. Treaties were never signed. And so I just want to also acknowledge the Palawa people of Luchawita, which is the First Nations people of Tasmania, and Nipaluna, which is Hobart. It's where I unfortunately grew up. Yes.
What's the best part about Hobart?
Leaving.
Hey!
Yay! Oh,
got him.
Half an hour peak hour traffic.
Okay, that's pretty good.
5 to 6.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it was last time I was out.
Yeah. Is it a growing metropolis?
They're trying to.
Yeah.
They want. Yeah. You've opened the can of worms now.
I'm genuinely interested.
If for those of you who've been to Hobart, there's one road in and one road out of town.
Right, because is it on the very bottom or is it on the top?
Hobart?
Yeah.
It's further south.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to go in, it's basically one road in.
So is it the most southern city in the world?
No.
What's the most southern city in the world?
Southern city. Well, there's probably places in Chile.
Oh, yeah. I always forget about Chile. I always forget about Chile.
But I think Southport has the most southern legal pub in the world or something like that.
Oh, that's a great title.
Or there was. Maybe. Yeah. I'm assuming there's something in Antarctica.
That means there's a more southern but illegal pub.
Yeah. What's below that's Cockle Creek, and it's just a dirt road with houses.
Yeah.
With Hobart, there's one road in, one road out.
Yeah.
And it all just funnels into one little spot.
Yeah.
And then if a ferry goes over the underneath the boat goes under the Tasman Bridge, the whole place stops because they closed the bridge down because of what happened. And so I remember
what happened?
A boat hit the bridge and
oh shit.
Yeah. So in the 60s, a boat or a ship went underneath.
Yeah.
The bridge is a lot bigger now. I think. So a boat went underneath.
You just grew up.
So a boat went underneath.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. It'll be smaller.
I didn't. Get ready for the rest of this podcast. So a boat, ship, a floating thing went underneath the bridge, crashed into it, gaping hole.
Yeah.
Cars flew off it.
Oh, fuck.
They were driving across it, and they didn't. People were trying to stop it, and they were like, this is weird, and they just over
there. I never heard of that.
Yeah, and so now even if it's a boat that's half the size, it clears it by a lot.
Yeah.
Like this. And then they go, no, we have to close it down.
So both sides, like a fat man on a lilo floats underneath.
Yeah, basically.
Hold up.
If you're a skinny man, then it's let through.
Yeah.
They're making sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And because it's all just one way.
Sure.
It's it backs up, and so
It sounds like overkill what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. So the bridge is. I know this is people. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right, but the bridge is over here. Right here. Well, I know people on Spotify. You can't see this.
Yeah, I was going to say audio format.
Audio format. Well, then do better.
Get a map of Tasmania.
So the bridge is on like one, and then I'm all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
I've just got into the main road of the city.
Yeah.
And I'm still unable to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't go down the side road because they're one-way streets.
Yeah.
And so it's good fun.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it
what
is.
It does sound like, though, is it would be really good for country songs. I think like people who are living in the sticks in Tasmania, and then writing about the city where there's only one way in and one way out.
Ooh.
Right? There's some,
I might steal those lyrics for something of myself.
There you go. You already got the hat.
The Sky Daddy Country album, yeah.
Oh, I'd love a Sky Daddy country album.
Wouldn't.
I can play some guitar for you. We can do that. Comment below if you'd
my
like.
baby with my fist.
Oh, right. Domestic abuse. Donate to our Patreon if you want Vibe Union to release a Sky Daddy country album.
But yeah, that's. So I don't know. The best part. I don't think I even asked you properly.
I think that's the best part. That's great. That's a great. That's a great unique thing about Hobart.
I'm trying to actually think of something actually positive to say about it.
An actual positive, yeah.
It's no. I think one thing is you're only ever like 15-minute drive away from somewhere like secluded or nice.
That's cool. That's very good. I like that.
You can find some nice little.
That makes sense. I
gems.
sort of feel like that's. No, it depends on where you are in Melbourne, but I feel like there's plenty of.
But like I said, like if you were here at Fitzroy, where we are now, like drive 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Up the. Yeah, I don't know. Sort of. I don't know. I don't know enough about Melbourne.
In terms of seclusion, what are you looking for? Like you want like a nice park or something? Because we can drive to a park.
There's plenty of parks, but I think if somewhere like I could think of a lot of little places I could go. Like you're not gonna maybe one person will walk past or something. I don't know. Well, but I'm sure locals of certain areas are all over Melbourne and Victoria. They're like, oh yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Just 20 minutes away, you can get to Waterfall.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We ain't got that.
Not everywhere.
We ain't got that.
Sorry, I'm just saying like you're only ever 20 minutes away from a waterfall.
That's another great line. By the end of this podcast, we're going to write.
Chasing them.
What does that mean? Don't go chasing waterfalls. What do they mean by
stick to
that?
the rivers and the streams like you used to.
Yeah.
TLC.
Well, okay. Oh, to get to the sea.
TLC.
TLC.
The girl group, the woman group.
Yeah. I know the song.
Oh, okay. Oh, you look at me like.
I don't know what it means. What does the metaphor mean?
I mean, we could probably find out. But,
no, I'm asking for
write in the comments, all those people watching.
What does the metaphor mean?
We could look it up, but we're straight white men, and we don't have to.
So last Thursday, we had our fourth installment of Project Legacy. That is our hip hop and R&B showcase, and it was off the chain. It was like huge. It was massive. I haven't got. I was gonna write actually. Let me do this instead. Let me do this. This is not the topic I was going to talk about, but I'm going to change the topic because we were going to talk about kind of what I wrote about in the blog the other day, which was doing too many things.
Good blog, read blog.
Good blog, read blog, and I wrote that at 4 a.m. The reason I wrote that at 4 a.m. is because I had written 2 other blogs prior to that, and I deleted both of them because I hated them. Because I was trying to figure out. I had a topic, but I couldn't figure out how to write it in a way that was not me putting my foot in it and calling a bunch of people out.
I know.
Which I think you have encountered as well, writing blog posts.
Yeah.
But I thought this would actually be better suited to a podcast. We still might put our feet in it. We still might piss some people off with this, but I want to get your thoughts because I know we feel the same about it. But I'm trying to figure out what frustrates me about this. Basically,
hit me, sir.
The way people talk in music in general.
In or about?
People who are in it talking about it. Okay. So we're talking about like hype. Basically, is my thing. So to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about, 2 classic examples, which I encounter relatively frequently, is amateur rappers and producers and whatnot in the hip hop scene, R&B scene as well. This happens in every scene, but those are the ones that I encounter the most. And I think the culture, it's a permanently online kind of culture in this day and age. So
true.
the hype is an important part of it. Second also is the DJ scene. Same fucking reason. Kind of permanently online. There's a lot of social media presence that you got to do to succeed in it. And there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of talk. And so it frustrates the hell out of me. It absolutely frustrates the hell out of me, especially when now I'm gonna sound really cynical, I think, on this podcast, which my apologies, don't want to be. I'm actually just I'm saying this because I'm trying to figure out what it is in my head that doesn't make sense, and what I can change that will make me either enjoy it a bit more or understand the reason behind it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk of big things coming. I got big things coming.
I've seen some stuff like that. Yeah.
Big things coming. I'm the best is obviously, just like I calling out the haters. Calling out the haters when you have 200 followers on Instagram, right? I'm hitting a brick wall, but I think you understand the topic. Does anything come to mind?
Yes. Hold on. We're going to the haters. There was something I was going to say. Oh God. Hold on. We'll go back again. You're saying the hype stuff. Yes, the hype stuff. Yes. I saw a video thing the other day, and it was like, my sleep paralysis demon is just a DJ consistently saying big things coming. That's what I was. Yeah. That was the meme I was going to share before I gave my point of view. I
think it was Bill Burr had a bit about like when a musician says like, I got big news, everyone's gonna be shocked by the news I have coming. You just stay tuned for the news, and then it's a song. It's like, you're supposed to release songs. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
I followed you on Instagram or whatever because you do music, unless it's like something horribly like I don't know. It's like big news revealed soon, and it's like, oh, I have cancer.
I guess if you came out with saying, hey, I've got a country album coming, then people would be like, okay, I didn't expect that. I didn't
expect Jason to do music at all. I forgot that even... forgot
that was a thing.
Well, I haven't done a gig for over a year now, I don't think, so...
leave them wanting more is what I say.
I looked at my Spotify. I've gone up 5 monthly listeners from 2 to...
I saw that.
2 to 7.
I was checking your EP
the hype on me at the moment is incredible. I'm getting 80 people looking at my stories. It's
There's I think like we've talked about this before about like Australians are really I think wary of hyperbole. We are really wary to talk a bunch of game when we're not really like. Is that tall poppy syndrome of like you go to the big city and you start making something of yourself and you talk to your old mates from the country and like, who the fuck do you think you are? What is all this? I'm trying to figure out because that can be really, really damaging. But I'm trying to figure out if I'm just being an Aussie and hating hyperbole and having tall poppy syndrome, or if I hate the hype.
Well, I said, like, I'm thinking that we're thinking of the same rapper in our head right now.
I haven't really got anyone in particular.
Okay, I do. I've never met the man, but I've heard his music. It's gross. But yeah, the calling out of...
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Shout out Steve.
Fuck you, Steve.
I hope this is his real name.
That's a good one. I don't know his real name.
Anyway, so there's the one particular calling out rappers, calling out the game. I'm like, I hate the one. It's like, oh, you just got to work harder.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've touched on it before, and I always say that on podcasts. But like, the whole you got to work harder, you got to just get better, blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's good, but like, how do you work harder when you don't have the equipment? Like, if you want to, like, I'm lucky I know you. I can go to your house and record stuff. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's not the most. It's like insanely. It's not insanely, but it's far better than what I have. Like And then if someone's like, "Oh, I want to record something," I've got a shitty mic with a little interface. Oh, look at me knowing things.
Huge.
Yeah, huge gains. Yeah, and it's like, well, how do I? It's like, okay, I want to get stuff professionally done.
Yeah.
So it's $250 a session.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, because I remember ages ago, I did during lockdowns, the Get Down events. They did a the thing, and then MQ or MASH was like basically got me into it. Did a couple of basically you send videos in, like you rap over a beat that a producer gave, and one of the producers hit me up and was like, "Oh, you should come into the studio and do some stuff."
Oh, cool.
And but here's me just going, "Oh, fuck yeah, that'd be amazing." And then I that was obviously after lockdown would hit, but then after like 3 weeks, I was going to go like, "Hey, do you want to do something?" Then I realized, I was talking to you or someone, and they're like, "Oh no, I actually have to pay for those things." Because I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to work with him," but I was like, "Oh no, I can't. I can't actually." So I was like, "Yeah, I could work hard. I could write. And like people can write amazing songs." So I'm like, and then they go, "Oh, you just put them on SoundCloud or whatever." I'm like, the amount of kind of thing. It's sort of I'm
a big believer. I'm a big believer in the DIY nature, the DIY approach, which is the counter to what you're saying, which is the I think how Vibing has done everything that we do is the DIY approach. That hustler attitude, though, is so hyper toxic version of this.
Because it's kind of like giving. It's like kind of giving. What's the word? Not giving up, but like it's kind of like giving. But what am I trying to say? It is like
that's going to be the title of this episode.
What are we
both trying to say today?
It's like basically, I guess, whatever. It's like giving up a part of yourself to be more hyperbolic, kind of thing. It's just like, oh well, because these people, it's persona, right? Because I'm sure these people aren't walking around every day. Which I get it. Like when I'm Sky Daddy, I'm a if the three people that know that, it's a persona.
Yeah.
I've got the jacket, the glasses on, mainly because it's too bright, and I'm always, if I'm performing, I'm looking down the microphone and I look cross-eyed or my eyes closed, so I keep glasses on so I can not worry about what I look like.
I think I have a comparison of this. Is wreshling? Is pro wrestling?
Ah, yes.
Because are they just doing? Was it kayfabe?
Is that
the word?
Kayfabe.
I think it's kayfabe. I can't remember if I've said that correctly, but there's a term in wrestling that is essentially is basically the suspension of disbelief. So that like if you're playing a character. Then you have to, you've designated this kind of character, and you were going to play that in every aspect of. And so in wrestling, like your character in the ring, you're also your character in interviews. You're your character whenever a fan sees you in any situation that you might be spotted as that wrestler. Then you have to be in character. And I feel like that is the go for a lot of musicians as well, especially in the social media age. I'm not sure if this is always true. I'm sure this has been true to a degree, but in the social media age, it feels like you have to be this. Funnily enough, you're always the best. You're also an underdog at the same time.
Actually, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
You're the underground, but you're also got a shitload of haters, which means a bunch of people know you. I assume that means, I don't know, there's a bunch of all these contradictory points.
That's a really good comparison. Like, I've finally made it, but everyone hated me.
I'm the most underrated MC.
But also I got these haters, and well, then actually, I never thought about it like that. The juxtaposition of the lyrics is very odd.
I guess actually that's kind of coming to what frustrates me about it is it's just the cookie cutter nature of it.
Oh yeah.
And so like if you're saying that kind of shit and you are just another underground MC in Melbourne, it's like, well, we can't all be the best, the most hated, the most underground, the most underdog. We all are, and we all haven't got big things coming. We've all got more songs coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah. Again, there's a difference. I did a gig. So I did a gig here, in fact, at Radio Bar, and I talk a lot of shit on stage. When I mess up my...
Was that the one I was here for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mess up my performances all the time, and I'll forget lyrics, and I'll mess up some samples and stuff like that playing, and I'll have a good laugh at it. And for me personally, I really enjoy that aspect of kind of making it approachable. There's no veil between me and the audience. There's no like, oh, I'm trying to be anything more than just a guy who's got a mic. I've put some time into making my songs, making the production, yada, yada. But I'm just some bloke playing some songs. I hope you enjoy them. I feel like it's, and also, so that night, I was hanging out with a bunch of folk musicians, and I feel like that is a kind of a classic attitude of like, oh, g'day guys, I wrote some songs, here they are, I hope you fucking like them, ding, 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 and then...
Crazy Frog. Ding,
and then you play Crazy Frog. That is a great bit. Somebody came up to me, though, later that evening and said, I love your performance, but... Stop that. Stop putting yourself down on stage. Stop talking all this shit. Like, you need to pretend that you are... They honestly said that, like, you need to pretend that you are bigger than you are up there. Like, fake it till you make it kind of shit. I was like, but I'm not bigger than I am. I'm exactly the size that I am in terms of stature and followers.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I said... I think we've talked about this. I think my catchphrase is now... It's like, I think we've talked about this before. I'm gonna get that.
I've done that on my podcast, on my solo podcast.
I'm going to get that on my. I'm going to get that tattooed across my chest.
I said on a hat. All right. We're the same person.
I just for me having the being able to do that all the time would just be exhausting. Like absolutely. I remember when I did my EP with Milky Bar Kid, aka Dilly Dave. Mm-hmm. And stuff. It was like, well, you know, it was fun. Yeah. And then it was like 11:30, and it just finished. And I was talking to Georgia. Yeah. And she was like, "How much have you had to drink?" And I was like, "I've had like 2 cans all night," and I was drained. Yeah. I was so exhausted. I'm like, "How do you keep that bravado up?" I was like, I was talking. I was like, really good. And she's like, "How much?" I was like, "No, I haven't. My brain just was fried." I'm like, "That was 5 songs." It's like someone like performing a whole set. Yeah. I was like I've done like 3 songs here and 3 songs there, but to do a whole set, I don't know if I could.
Okay, let me tie this into the topic we're going to talk about today, which is the mask that we wear at a gig.
We didn't even know what masking was, so like...
No, but but the term wearing a mask is a relatively universal concept.
That's why I thought you'd know. Anyway, not the point.
So at Project Legacy.
Yeah. That's right. We were talking about that ages ago. It was a really good night. Yeah.
It was a great night.
It was a good night.
I was anxious as fuck. As soon as I walked in the door, I was just like, I am not in the right headspace to talk to artists, especially to talk to other MCs and singers and DJs and what have you. And
DJs.
I mean, I never do the like. I don't do the hype. I don't do the bravado.
I don't think,
But there's still a level of, there's still a mask on to a degree. There's still a performance to a degree.
Well, yeah, you gotta.
And we do that here. We do that here at Radio Bar. I think less so, but there's still a degree of performance of what we're doing here, right? Mm. And it is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. The character I play on stage when I'm rapping has more and more become just an extension of myself. It's a heightened, exaggerated version of that. But me talking a bunch of shit and saying, "G'day cunts, how the fuck are you? Here's a bunch of rap songs." It's like, that's me drinking beer and that's me rapping. And the marriage between those two has made it so much more relaxing and so much more fun being on stage. And if I go up there and go, I don't even know how to fucking do it. Like if I go up there and do a bunch of bravado and pretend to be do the classic. I'm not calling. No, I'm not going to use that. If I go up there and do a bunch of crowd work and stuff like that, I want call and response, and I want which is part of the show. Like if that works for you, that works for you. But where am I going?
So I remember I did a thing with Brother Ali. I've mentioned a couple of times, and he was talking about the call and response stuff.
Yeah.
Once again, talked about this in a degree to whatever, but like the call and response thing, it
only matters if someone's seen every episode.
Yes.
So.
Parasocial relationships. But no, he was talking about, because someone mentioned was like, oh, how do you? I'm doing a gig.
Yeah.
This was what, last year?
Yeah.
Whatever. He's like, oh, I'm doing a gig, and it was still like COVID. There was so everyone was like, he was from America. It was people from all over the world. For me, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
When I started. Anyway, so he asked Brother Ali a question like I'm performing in front of like 1,000 people or something, or like whatever, and they're all in little bubbles, like little circle. Like obviously they drew circles around and stuff. So there's a certain anyway, blah blah blah. You get the picture. And well, you better, otherwise.
It's vaguely do.
Anyway, so he was like, that's the point he was trying to make that I should make is that he was like, how do you get crowds involved?
Yeah.
Right. And then Brother Ali was like, well, if you're coming from a point where you're not very well known, doing the call and response thing is stupid because no one knows your songs.
Yeah.
No one knows you.
Yeah.
You might have a small following, but if you have a small following, you're hoping that they're all there.
Yeah.
But if you are going around from place to place, they're not always going to be there.
Yeah.
And so what he said was like, start off. Not every venue will like this because start off with a song that everyone knows.
Sure.
That's not yours.
Yeah.
So he used example is "Into Club" by 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And then you rap that, and people go, right. You've got me now. I know you can rap.
Yeah.
You're rapping someone else's song, but you can rap, and then you can go do your own stuff.
That's particularly interesting advice because I feel like covers in rap is very uncommon.
Maybe one for the set or something, but
I wouldn't mind taking like a classic beat, taking a Tribe Called Quest beat and do a
people
verse
do that.
like that, right?
Yeah, I've seen some.
Or even like do the hook. And then do your own verses. I think that might be a good way of just like...
I've seen a few...
you guys can get along with the verse, and then I'll do my little thing, and then...
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I remember doing a deep dive in like Aussie rap, and there was like the Aussie diss tracks and stuff of some very interesting individuals.
Yeah.
And one of them used Tupac beat.
Yeah.
And
classic thing you can do in like a diss track, I think, is like use a classic beat.
And the rap was absolutely horrible. That was just me.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, I can't remember what your names are, but don't come after me, you very scary people.
We're the most optimistic, supportive people in the scene.
But yeah, I think that whole hype stuff. Yeah, and it was like trying to get people to like. So I did. Yeah, sorry for Spotify people. I did a gesture.
Watch us on YouTube. It's better anyway.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, you can see the chaos.
Put us on while you're cooking, and it's like you're cooking for us, which I don't know. If you subscribe to our Patreon, we're going to add a new tier where you get to cook us a meal. We'll come to your place and we'll hang out with you.
Just cook with us. We'll just do a cooking stream.
Imagine this in your home.
Imagine me.
We'll wear what you want.
No, that you need a lot more Patreon money for that.
Yeah.
The $100.
That's the $20 tier.
I'll just say 100, but Rye has very low self-esteem, and
I'll pay you.
Actually, what am I talking about? $2, so I'll be there.
I'm scared to be cynical or to call people out, but we've both seen it so many times. You've got 10 people in a room, and you do when I say this, you say that, and you go this, and you get maybe 2 people going that. This, that.
Yeah, and then the performer's like, oh, Carl, you can do better. I'm like, even if you get 10 people to do it.
It still sounds like 10 people.
Yes.
It still sounds like 10 people.
I think the only I do it at, no, I don't do that at poetry, but I'm like, okay, we're going to say one word. Yeah. Or like someone says, I think with Amy, she's like, fuck you, Helen.
Yeah.
And then there's 40, 50 people in a room.
Yeah.
On a good night, poetry night. And I'm like, okay, everyone, I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to say, fuck you, Helen. And then everyone does it. And then I'm like, I just got a whole room. But the way that people, if you do it properly, I'm not saying that my MC skills are amazing, but if everyone does it.
Yeah.
I started off once before. My whole thing was like, we're just doing one solitary clap.
Yeah.
I don't know what popped in my head. I'm like, because it got me from a bunch of YouTubers did it. And they were like, okay, we want everyone to crack their knuckles at the same time. And then you hear it and it sounds horrendous.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And so I was like,
never do that.
I was like, there's enough people. You need like a good 500 or so. So I was like, let's just now I need to crack my knuckles.
No, don't please.
But anyway, yeah, so then that's why I got the idea. I was like, let's just do a solitary clap for certain things. And then every now and then now, I'm just like, okay, let's just say this one word or happy birthday or...
I think like the solitary clap, well, I think with the poetry, it's packed in enough. It's is also, or that's also already teed up pretty much as an audience participation, because it's the audience are getting up and on the mic, and also with the "fuck you, Helen" kind of stuff. Like that's teed up by like, oh, you're all having an experience here.
True.
So it's very like, it's just very realistic. It's just very real. I think that's my issue is like, when you do these kind of classic things that you see massive artists do to crowds of thousands and thousands of people, it's like, but we're not thousands of people. If there's an interaction that is genuine in the moment, and it's like, okay, now I can play on this. That's like a comedian going into a club and like asking people in the crowd where they're from and stuff like that. Because now you've got a connection to the crowd. Now you can kind of play with that. But when you just go up there and say, hey, there's 10 people in the audience, but I want you to all sing along to the chorus of my song. It's like, we barely know who you are. Oh, I know this sounds really. I know some artists would hear this and be like, "Fuck you."
But also but we say that, but then we wouldn't do, like, you and I wouldn't do that if we were performing. So like, we'd be like,
No.
we understand the situation where some people just try to keep going with that, the hyperbole or that character or whatever, even though that there's 10 people in the room, right? But whereas if we knew there was 10 people in the room were performing, we would never go like, all right, everyone, when I say this, you say that. And then everyone's like, no. Nope. Because if only 3 people do it, everyone knows, like, it's like someone trying to start a Mexican wave with 6 people. It's like, I was at the Women's World Cup.
That's great.
Germany versus Morocco, group stage. Germany won 6-0. Yeah, it was, anyway, not the point. There was three rows down from me.
Yeah.
There was a woman with her kids and her kids' friends. I was like, okay, everyone, Mexican wave, ready, 3, 2, and no one did anything. And then she tried it like 3 or 4 times. And she's like, okay, it's for the kids, everyone. And everyone went, no. Sit. She was very like Turek mum kind of vibe. Make what you will of that.
Shout out to Turek mums.
The new 4-wheel drives for the leaves in the driveway.
And they've always got the most expensive running outfits.
Yes.
And matching dogs. Fuck anyone who's got matching dogs. Get different dogs. I used to live in Turek and everyone had matching dogs.
Vibe Union outraged the matching dog community.
We're gonna be ostracized from the rap community and the Turek mum community. And look,
well, we did say previously on
one of those I'm a bit bummed out about, to be honest.
We did say one of our podcasts when we just came back. We're in our mum's podcast, so
we'll be down to 2 listeners from our 20.
That's I'm happy with that. It's about the niche community that we want to.
Do you think it's actually though? So us putting on a, and I'm not talking about the masking idea. I'm talking about just more of us putting on a performance mask when we're out here emceeing or running sound, or especially on stage. We try and be very much who we are ourselves, because if we pretend to be this character, we are exhausted. And I struggle to connect to the audience if I do that. I try and be really real about it. Do you think it maybe goes the opposite way, though, for some of these other artists, that maybe if they drop that persona, would they not know how to connect with the audience? Or is that maybe a lack of trying?
That's a good question, actually. Maybe
to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe that's personas like what people come to expect. And that kind of.
I mean, that's definitely part of the art form, the genre of a lot of hip hop.
I think like even think about like when I did the an open mic at Red Betty's, we did it a while back, and then I went up there and I'm looking sort of like this, and they're like, oh, people are like, we weren't expecting you to rap, and I'm like,
where's his guitar? And where's his country music?
I'm like, I went up here without a, sort of thing, and like was expecting that, and then that's why I always started off gigs when I did like whatever, a few more gigs back in the day. I started with a poem. Yeah. So I was like, fuck you and what you expect. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think that's the thing. It's like people stop doing what they want to do and they're doing what.
Yeah.
Like, see, I mean, I don't know if it's to our detriment or my detriment or whatever. It's like I go back to when I did Young Gods last time. Yeah. And the performer before me was very, let's go flamboyant,
Yeah.
aggressive, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I got asked like, Jason, can you please like bring the room back around? Because I was after them.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you please bring the room back around and like try to get the chill vibes back? And I already planned to start with the poem, so I literally went up there. I was like, all right, motherfuckers, I'm going to do a poem. I know that half of you rappers are too scared to do poetry, so I'm going to do it for you. And because I knew
Fuck my head.
well, because I was like, well, none of these people know who I am anyway.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who these people are. And in the nicest way possible, I'm like, I know who some of these people are. You don't know who I am. And so what do I have to lose? They're going to go, well, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm like, you weren't listening to me in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I go back, I finish, I'm like, oh, I'm an anxious boy again. As soon as I get behind a mic, I'm completely different. It's like, I've got the mic, you can shut up and let me do my thing.
So there's still that performative side, but it's...
Oh, 100%.
But it's still... I guess that I don't see an honesty to the hype. Not everyone. Some people...
But it depends on how you do the hype, though.
Yeah.
If it's just saying, we're saying, like, do it like, oh, the haters, the blah, blah, blah. And, like, if you go, like, I don't know, some people are just, like, I'll get messages. If some people are like, oh, I get messages, just people saying, oh, well, why don't you kill yourself? That's a hyperbolic thing. But, you know, like, saying, like, oh, your music sucks, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you come from that point of view, but if you're just saying, like, oh, as soon as, I remember, I think it was Mash was saying once, like, when you're seeing someone, he showed me a video or was talking about someone, and someone's mentioning the word they. No, I think it was DJ Khaled. Was talking, as soon as you say they, it's like, well, who's they?
Who's they?
But then I've now realized, like, they sometimes can be used because if you say they, you have a very specific person in mind.
Yeah.
But you don't want to name them.
You know who they is? It's in their head.
But also,
I reckon if anyone says like "fuck the haters," the haters are themselves. It's just a self-doubt.
Maybe.
I think at this point in anyone's career, like if anyone hates my music, which I'm sure there's plenty of people who listen to my music when I do it live or what have you, and they've gone like, nah, not interested. Yeah. I've never heard it. No one's ever told me. If you hate my music, DM me at Rhath_music on Instagram and tell me you hate my music.
I am creating 3 burner accounts.
And so then I can write a song, Fuck the Haters. But until then, like, I've not heard... Actually, I don't hear anything.
Actually, that's a good... Just write a song called Fuck the Haters without having any haters.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just seeing what someone I know.
Just having a song called Fuck the Haters when you have no haters. It's kind of funny, actually. Actually, that's another interesting point. If you're doing a song about like, oh, people are hating them, like, well, how many... If you're like an underground artist, how many people do you get message you going, you suck? Like, there's been many artists I've seen in Melbourne that I don't like, but I'm not going to message them going, hey, man, fuck you, your music sucks. I'm just like, I'm not going to engage with this. I don't like it. Sort of thing.
It's just, I guess it is just part of the character. Same as like you always have to act like, I've got big things coming. There's all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I find it disingenuous.
Yeah.
I find it disingenuous. And as vague as that statement is, because then like that is the hardest thing to say to someone, like, hey, can you just be like a genuine character? And then they have to then figure out what that genuine character is, and that's a whole thing. Yes. But I think for better or for worse, I'll give us this one compliment.
Yes.
Is that we cannot fake it.
I don't think we can.
I think that's why Vibe Union works, and it's also why Vibe Union has failed at being
other
bigger than it could. I think we could talk a lot of game, but we could probably get a lot bigger, and I can't do it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had. Is this risky?
Probably.
Sort of. We've had members of Vibe Union who are better at talking game than we are. And they get connections really, really quickly. They go off and hook things up. And I don't know if I...
Yeah, but that was the time when there was far more of us and you could get away with doing more things.
That's true. That's also
so,
true.
like, we could talk a big game and go, oh, let's go to this venue. Let's go, oh, we've got like another rap night here, we've got another poetry night here. At the end of the day, it's still the two of us.
That's true.
So we manage our expectations. We know what, to counter your point,
please,
is that we I don't know why I'm leaning like this now.
Because now we can get the thumbnail. There we
go. We are good at the events that we do, and then we manage those events and stuff. But yeah, if we've got 7, 8, 9, 10 people, you can go, oh, do you want it? Can you help out with this one? Can you help out with this? Whereas like, well, if it's just two of us now, it's like we hype ourselves up.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
We always we're promoting ourselves all the time. We do the Patreon stuff.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
I think it's
that kind of thing.
I think it's genuine enough, though.
Yeah.
The chaos of our surroundings is, I think, distracting both of us.
So I think we should call it here.
I think we should call it here. I don't know if we've said anything on this episode or we have said way too much.
It's the rambling of things. So I think we need to.
It's fine, mate. Wait. We don't edit it. What is she talking about? If you're watching on YouTube, we just we just heard in the background. Oh, don't worry about it. They'll edit that part out where someone walked in front of the camera. Yeah, and as you've seen,
so we keep every inch in. So thank you to our guests here, the lovely.
Comment below what's the name of this is.
The androgynous monster alien thing. Music by Sixpence.
Yep.
Shout out to Sixpence, and I'm hoping that there was a morsel of entertainment, or
who knows?
Yeah.
We'll be back with more guests and more energy in a fortnight.
Follow us on Instagram, vibe.union.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're watching this, you probably already know who we are.
If you're watching this and you don't know who we are,
why?
What? Where did you come from?
Hello, where'd you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Don't
bye.
We have stuff. We got other. Yeah, fuck it. Just finish. I'm tired. Finish it off.
This is the best outro yet.